Okay, so you've got a problem, a very specific, very stupid problem. You know, completely, perfectly how an airplane works. Lift, thrust, drag, the whole thing. You could draw a 747 from memory. And none of that knowledge is worth a single splinter of wood right now because you're standing in a Stone Age village with nothing but bare feet, a sharp mind, and absolutely zero tools to act on any of it. This is the trap nobody warns you about with time travel. Information isn't the bottleneck. Infrastructure is. You can hold the entire blueprint for flight in your skull and still be less useful than the guy next to you, who knows how to chip a decent arrowhead. Because before you build anything that leaves the ground, you have to answer a much dumber question first. Why does anyone here have a single free hour to listen to you? Right now, nobody does. Everyone around you is hunting, foraging, or hauling water, dawn to dusk, because the alternative is starving. There is no research and development in a world where missing one meal matters. So your first move isn't aerodynamics, it's agriculture. You need somebody, somewhere, to plant more food than they need and store the extra. That surplus is the first battery civilization ever charged. Stored time, stored energy, stored permission to sit around and wonder why birds don't fall out of the sky. Once that surplus exists, you finally get your opening, and the first real proof of your idea isn't an engine. It's a kite. You need cordage and something light enough to catch wind without snapping. This isn't speculation. Actual kites appear in Chinese records around 500 BC, and they weren't toys. They were military signaling tools, distance-measuring devices, even rigs strong enough to lift a man for observation, according to later accounts. The physics is almost embarrassingly simple once you see it. Tilt a flat surface into moving air, and the air pushes back. Part of that push goes upward. That's lift. You've just demonstrated it 4,000 years before anyone writes the word aerodynamics down. But a kite on a string is not an airplane. And this is where your modern brain finally earns its keep. You remember something nobody else could possibly know yet. Shape beats size. You need camber, a curved top surface over a flatter bottom. Air moving over that curve has to cover more ground in the same time, so it speeds up. And faster air means lower pressure pressing down on top. The thicker, slower air underneath shoves the wing upward. That's Bernoulli's principle. Except Bernoulli isn't born for another couple thousand years. So right now it's just you, scratching curved cross-sections into riverbank mud while children watch you talk to yourself. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Every piece of a real airplane is already hiding inside your kite. The frame is a fuselage skeleton. The fabric is skin. The only thing missing is the string, and the thing that replaces it isn't more wind. It's an engine. Lift without thrust just makes you a kite with commitment issues. So now you're stuck on propulsion, and propulsion is where the tech tree turns vicious. You can't whittle an engine out of wood. You need metal that survives heat and repeated stress without warping, which means metallurgy, which means fire hot enough to rip ore apart. Bronze Age furnaces from roughly 5,000 years ago hit about 100 degrees Celsius, plenty for bronze, nowhere close to what a crankshaft needs. Real structural steel wants furnace temperatures above 2,500 degrees, which means better fuel, better airflow, eventually coke instead of charcoal. Every unglamorous improvement to fuel and ventilation is secretly a prerequisite for flight, centuries before anyone's thinking about wings at all. While civilization slowly catches up to metal that doesn't bend under pressure, you start sketching something smaller in your head. Combustion. You already know the punchline the world took millennia to find. Trap fuel in a sealed chamber, ignite it with a spark, and the explosion pushes a piston with enough force to do real work. That's an internal combustion engine, and it's the actual heartbeat of flight. The Wright brothers didn't get airborne in 1903 because they were unusually clever about feathers. They got airborne because a gasoline engine light enough to fly had finally become buildable, something steam power could never touch at that weight-to-power ratio. Since a steam engine drags along an entire boiler and tank of water. Put the explosion inside a small chamber instead of boiling a tank, and suddenly the math of leaves the ground becomes possible. Trace the chain you just climbed. Surplus grain buys you free time. Free time buys you curiosity. Curiosity gets you a kite, proving lift is real. 4,000 years of furnace refinement gets you metal that holds its shape under load. Chemistry gets you fuel that releases enormous energy in a tiny space. Precision machining, the same obsession that eventually gives the world accurate clocks and rifled guns, gets you an engine block that doesn't shake itself apart mid-flight. Only after every one of those layers is stacked beneath you can you bolt a propeller onto a wooden frame and legitimately call it an airplane. This is the part everyone gets backwards when they picture inventing flight. Nobody invents the airplane. It gets assembled, quietly, out of solutions, to problems that were never about flying in the first place. Furnace design wasn't about planes. It was about tools and weapons. Chemistry wasn't about planes. It was about preserving food and curing illness. Precision metalworking wasn't about planes. It was about clocks and firearms. Flight is the freeloader sitting on top of every other industry's homework, cashing in centuries later. So when the Wright flyer finally lifts off a beach in 1903 and stays up for 59 seconds, that's not really a 12-second triumph belonging to two bicycle mechanics. It's the final installment on a 4,000-year loan. Every furnace ever stoked, every grain silo ever filled, every curved sail ever rigged to bite into the wind a little better, all of it quietly financed those 59 seconds. So next time you're sitting on a delayed flight, annoyed at turbulence and bad coffee in a plastic cup, remember what's actually holding you up at 35,000 feet. It's not aluminum and jet fuel. It's a kite from 2,000 years ago, a furnace from 5,000 years ago, and one decision your ancestors made to stop hunting just long enough to plant something in the dirt and wait for it to grow.